Welcome to EFT MBA Mastering Business Acumen with the help of EFT business experts. Learn the marketing, mindset, and skill set you need to create the EFT coaching practice of your dreams. Visit www.eftmba.com for more information. And now, here's the EFT training team that embodies the art and science of EFT. Alina Frank and Dr. Craig Weiner.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. I am Dr. Craig Weiner, and I also have with me...
Me.
My partner, you. Yes, that was your cue.
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm Alina Frank.
And we are EFT MBA, EFT Mastering Business Acumen radio hosts. And we are here today. I was listening to that intro, Alina, and it was talking about having the EFT practice of your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually perfect here because what we're going to have is a radio show today, the half hour focused on developing a waitlist referral practice. And as far as I'm concerned, having a referral practice is part of having a dream practice. So
right.
It's perfect.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say that we are, it's the 6th of May when we're recording this show, and we are about to start another EFT MBA 6-month series, and we already have students in there that are getting the benefit of our advice. They're being matched up with accountability partners and tapping buddies, and they have a whole range, a wealth of information, an entire library filled with files on how to do this sort of thing to build your business in a much more detailed way. And if you're interested at all, jump on. We'll be doing the first live call tonight, but you can certainly catch up if you miss it, and that's EFTMBA.com. So I just wanted to put a plug in because we are so excited about this semester.
It is. We have people joining us from around the world, which is really a lot of fun and lots of different perspectives with people in different aspects of their practice. But what they have in common is wanting to make a difference in their community and the world with EFT and to thrive financially while doing that.
Absolutely. Everyone deserves to be compensated well for this fabulous work. And there really, it's a shame. It really breaks our hearts to see how many people struggle because they don't have the knowledge. So here we are. We're going to talk about referral. What does that even mean? So, Craig, what do you want to tell us about this?
Sure. Well, this is something that's of real importance for me, having been a chiropractor for going on a quarter of a century now, as far as being in a place where we have new patients or new clients come to us from referral sources of other types of practitioners, and equally as important is having a referral practice that we have safe harbors and excellent clinical skills for people that I refer my clients out to. So we're going to be discussing both aspects of a referral practice. But before we get into the details, I just want you to picture what it would be like to have a full practice, in fact, not just full this week and next week, but actually having to have a practice where you're starting to have to schedule people 2, 3, 4 weeks forward. So you have a full practice, but that, let's just say 1/3 of your new clients coming in are being referred by existing clients that are talking about the great work you're doing. And then you have another 1/3 of your practice that are being referred in from a variety of different kinds of providers and healthcare providers out there. And that just leaves 1/3 to whatever you're doing in the community, the talks or the writing that you're doing and the blogging and whatever you're doing on the internet, that you have this like balanced portfolio of steady sources of referrals coming to you and people coming to you. And I like putting it in that perspective. So there are a lot of advantages to having it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to be talking in depth about getting referrals, but I actually want to begin the other way, that we as EFT practitioners, coaches, licensed healthcare professionals, whoever it is that's listening that is incorporating EFT and doing EFT, that we ultimately have a responsibility, and it's just the right thing that we need to be able to have a circle of people that we can refer out to that we trust.
You mean it's not just all about me getting more people to my practice?
Yeah, it's not just about that, is it? It's doing the right thing and standing by to make sure that your clients are getting what they need. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really at the bottom line, that they're getting what they need. Now, many times I'm able to provide that, but there's sometimes I'm not the right person. So I wanted to go over a couple of different reasons why we need to establish a healthy referral circle outside of ourselves in different ways. One of them is going to be when I get in over my head. In other words, where issues come up that I'm not the one that should be handling that. So, for example, somebody comes in and they just fell off a ladder and they want me to tap on their thigh pain that they can barely stand on. Guess what the first thing I'm thinking? I better have a medical doctor. If they haven't already seen a medical doctor, I want to be able to have somebody in the medical field that I can refer out to and say, look, you need to get this checked. Or they're dealing with a host of other medical or physical issues that I need to be able to say, has this been seen by a medical professional? And if not, I need to be able to sometimes provide resources for, here's a great person to go to. Here's a place I know that's open 24/7. Here's the number for the emergency room. Here's a nurse practitioner that I know works really well with digestive problems, or et cetera, that I need a source to be able to refer to for medical conditions. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't that happened to you, that you've needed that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, so that's important first. Next, really important, is people that we can refer to in the mental health license field, okay? Somebody's starting to talk about in their work with you suicidal thoughts that you're taking seriously. Somebody's talking about physical abuse that's happening in their household, mental, physical, sexual abuse, child abuse, any of these issues, you need to have sources of being able to refer out, because you're starting to get in a place where they may be seeing you as a therapist, and if you're not a licensed therapist, you need to be able to have people that you trust that you can refer out to so that they'll be well taken care of.
Right.
I know you've run into that a lot, Alina.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because when I knew that I wanted to specialize in working with sex issues, I knew that I would need to have a solid referral network to be able to send people, because as an EFT coach and one that is not licensed in mental health, I'm not the person that my clients go to in the middle of the night if something really serious comes up. That's not me. And it's illegal for me to claim anything like that. So, yeah, you have to. You just have to.
No, so important.
I also would say that when you develop a relationship with someone who is licensed in the mental health field, they have a heck of a lot of respect for you for going and seeking them as a referral. Doesn't mean you have to accept everyone, and I think that asking around and seeing who has a good reputation and actually like meeting these people in person, having a conversation or two with them to see if it's a really good fit philosophically, is the way to go. But once they say, yeah, I agree, this is going to be good, they have a heck of a lot more respect for you than all the dozens and hundreds of healers, right, quote unquote healers out there that have absolutely no training in trauma. They do not know what they're doing. They leave people in a very dysregulated and activated state, and they clean up the mess. They eventually have to clean up the mess. So I just hear it all the time from either students that we have in the mental health field or the people out in our community that we refer to, that they really do appreciate us going to them and saying, hey, I'm just going to need some backup.
It's true, and you actually hit on a really important point. We don't hear the voices of those people that leave us not happy.
Uh-huh.
Okay? In other words, we get to hear the stories of the medical doctor that caused harm, or the psychotherapist that messed with their head, whatever it is. Any profession, things happen. And mostly people voice their concerns by leaving. So we don't get to hear the EFT stories in which somebody came away feeling not well. And then they go to So when psychotherapists or mental health care or any other practitioner is willing to hear, you know what, I need somebody to refer to when I get in over my head, or when I have somebody that, I'm working with one partner and I shouldn't be working with their spouse and they're on meds. And, there are all kinds of issues that we need ethically to be able to have those referrals for. And like you said, they will absolutely, the level of respect will automatically go up for us. I was going to cover this later, but one of the greatest keys for me that I give a thumbs up for is when a practitioner, whatever it be, an energy worker, a body worker, whatever, comes to me as a chiropractor and then says, I'd like to be able to develop a relationship with you and consider that you'd refer people to me. The thing that I'm listening for the most is, are they only telling me all the things that they're fabulous at, and they heal this and they're great for that and this and that, and they never give me any indication for maybe what they're not good at, or for what their limitations are, or for, you know what, I don't feel comfortable working with this population. As soon as they give me some sort of, I don't want to say vulnerability, but lack of, I do everything, my respect and trust for them escalates tremendously. So don't be scared to do that.
And I would also say, this is a problem that we see EFT coaches struggle with all the time. Of course, EFT helps everything. Of course, you're good at everything. But you cannot be going out there and claiming that you do. Or number one, you're not going to be hitting the numbers with your practice. I guarantee you, because I've seen it enough. And two, you're just going to sound like you're out to lunch by the vast majority of professional healthcare providers in your community.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we have lots of reasons and times that we can think of referring out for. Okay. I will also tell you that your clients will have tremendous respect for you when you do that. And two, the more you know about the person that you're sending them to, sometimes you can help that. So, for example, as a chiropractor, I have to refer out to orthopedic surgeons. And I might say, this person doesn't necessarily have the best bedside manner, but clinically I know of nobody better. Or this person is wonderful, but, their practice is pretty booked, so you may have to wait 6 weeks. So the more that you start to develop a relationship and be able to give a heads up to your client, the more helpful that is also for them.
Great.
Now, why develop a strong referral practice so that it comes back to you? Well, number one is anybody, I think this is really important, anybody that you refer out to, I never have an expectation that they're going to refer back to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing it for the right reason. I'm not doing it to get the client back, because that automatically sets up a 1-4, well, I sent them 3 and they sent me 2. That just messes with your head, and it's not a good idea. I also want to be very clear that you should never have a relationship where you refer out and you get some sort of remuneration. It's illegal. It's a kickback. So just get that out of your head from the beginning.
Yep.
But once you start to develop a relationship where you get referrals from a local, think about it, fill in the blank, chiropractor, acupuncturist, body worker, psychotherapist, medical doctor, physician's assistant, naturopath, when they come to you, what is already built into that relationship? Number one is you're already on their cause. Their person trusts you enough to refer specifically to you. So you have got a trust factor built in that we know affects what they think and feel. So at a placebo effect level, at a healing level, on an energetic level, on all those different levels, they're coming to you already with reduced skepticism, with increased embracing you and the work that you do, because their person said that you're good at what you do and that you could possibly help them.
Right.
And that's huge. That's worth a lot. That's a great, starting at an escalated level of trust and possibility right there. It's a less expensive form of creating new clients. In other words, and less work. You're not having to write new ad copy, and you're not having to prepare another presentation, and you're not having to purchase ads online or wherever you're doing it. In other words, establishing a relationship if it's one where they refer to you and you get a good result for them and the feedback verbally comes back to them, you're going to be an ongoing source of one of the people in their inner circle they trust that requires not much investment of any money and not much investment of time, really, once that gets established.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great referral source. So you have trust, you have less time and effort, but you do have to be able to reach out and establish those relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Alina, what would be, I've got a list right here of talking about that, but what would be one thing that you would think would be most important in starting to establish referral relationships of people that would refer to you, or what's been your experience?
People that would refer to me So I mean, and what we're talking here about is your referral network from different practitioners and people that are in your allied, field of interest. However, there's a whole other thing that we may cover here, but we certainly do cover it in the EFT MBA program, is about how to get that pipeline or referral going from the people that you have worked with, like your clients. We haven't even talked about that. Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, that's true. That's another.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say about how people have been referred to me is that I initially what I would do is I would just look out into my community, like I said, and I look for people that were specializing in what interested me and what things the area that I was going to specialize in, and had conversations with them. And I did something which you talk about often, which is I really listened to them. And I took in what it was that their concerns were, what they value in practitioners out in the community, and things of that nature. It's important to ask and listen more than for you to say, well, this is all I do, blah, 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 and just like kind of say, and here's my card and refer to me. It's just a very different kind of way that you are to approach this. I know Craig has a lot of good stories about people that come to see him that want to either sell something or do some kind of network marketing or want him to refer, and it's interesting, and it's like you said, it piques your curiosity more when somebody has a vulnerability. They tell you they don't give you these pie in the sky promises. They're humble, and they ask you what it is that you need. Now, when I first started my business, I wasn't very smart, and the EFT MBA program is really, a lot of it is based on all the lessons that I've learned through the school of hard knocks and bumping my head against the wall and struggling and having near financial disaster before I turned things around. So one of the things that I did, which did end up, being a source of referral in some very interesting roundabout ways, I wanted to work with dental phobia, and so I wrote a very personal letter to all the dentists in my community, and I followed up with them. And I tried to meet with them, not during their busy office hours, but set up, some time to talk to them about what it was that I did. And that was interesting. But I will tell you that the people that ended up referring and have ended up referring to me more than any others have been the people that I know personally. So don't overlook the alternative doctor on the soccer field. The alternative doctor on the soccer field was the person that filled my practice when I first got started. I mean, he said to me when I told him what I was doing, he said, "Okay, how quickly can you hang your shingle? I'm ready to start sending you some people." So it's the connection that you have with people, and if you don't have the connection, then go out and make it. Yeah, and that's all. That's actually what I want to say, because we know we keep it to 30 minutes in this show. So, Craig, what else do you want to say?
I got still a lot more. Two things I want to say. Division. One is practitioners outside the EFT world, which I'm going to spend more time talking about in a minute. But do not forget inside the EFT world. It's why we stress in the MBA program, what is your niche? Who are your peeps? What do you specialize in? Because I can tell you countless people we have referred to, people that are looking for, do you know an EFT coach who specializes with children and ADD? Do you know somebody who specializes in somebody just that works with sexual abuse? Do you know an EFT practitioner that really, really, really understands autoimmune diseases, et cetera? So, number one, it's important for you to learn to specialize, because then you become the go-to person, and that's a great source of referral as the EFT community gets to know who specializes, and also get to know what other people specialize in the topics that you really don't want to work in. Mm-hmm. So that's within the EFT world. Outside the EFT world, here's a homework assignment or something to play with. Make a referral list that you already have of the professions of people that you trust. In other words, who would you go to? Do you have a physician? Do you have an acupuncturist? Do you have a massage therapist, a naturopath, a chiropractor, whatever? Make that list of ones that you already refer to or you trust. Then look at what don't you have that you think are going to be important, especially with regards to your niche or specialty. If you're working a lot with chronic pain, then I absolutely would have a chiropractor, a physical therapist, an acupuncturist, et cetera, body workers, et cetera, and you make sure you have that side of the field really full. If you're really dealing with relationship issues, you may want to have counselors, especially ones that focus on that. You may wish to work with ones and know also if you start to hit violence issues, what your different city government and or social welfare, your different departments are. So make sure, given your niche, the different referrals, and develop those at an expanded level. I want to build out then what Alina was saying a little bit is when you reach out, and there are different ways to reach out, whether it's by letter, whether it's meeting in social circumstances, whether it's by a phone call, an email, and there are a lot of different ways depending on what's comfortable for you. Basically, you want to be thinking ahead of time, how can I help you? If you're going to a chiropractor going, I can help you with pain, because pain is my specialty, the chiropractor is going to be thinking, that's my specialty, why do I need you? Right? So you want to be thinking, and we had a personal story about that one, but that's another time. I did that to Alina at the beginning. Don't tell anybody.
Like I said, learn from my mistakes.
Exactly. So what you do want to think of is who are their problematic clients or patients that they probably don't want to work with, that exhaust them. So in other words, if you go to a chiropractor, for example, and you say, I work with the emotional and stressful impacts of people that are in chronic pain, and I know that the chronic pain patients are the ones that are having the most amount of stress and emotional upset and emotional strain, and it's showing up in lots of different ways. You are a huge addition that helps me with my more challenging patients. So always think, how can I relieve the practitioner's stress, or how can I help them with their greatest challenges? And if you don't know what they are, then ask, right? Alina already touched on, don't overly promote, listen first. Ask, have some good questions. Who are your hardest and most challenging cases? What would be the greatest resources, and how might I be able to help? So those are the kinds of questions. Listen to them deeply, and then naturally they will start to ask you, so tell me more about what you do. I don't understand it completely. And then that's a perfect invitation for you to share. So that relationship of reaching out, establishing a beginning way, it might take a while, but be persistent. And then when you finally do have the possibility of conversing on phone or in person, et cetera, listen deeply first and then offer next what you have to offer.
So,
don't hand them 100 or 200 business cards. That's such a turnoff. Give them a few. If they run out, they'll ask you for more. Exactly.
It'll end up in the garbage. The other thing that comes to mind, and I know we're really running out of time, we like to give you just the meat of the information and how you sink your teeth into, and send you on your way because we know you've got more stuff to do throughout your day. You're a busy practitioner. What I wanted to say is, we could have a whole nother segment, but we do cover it in the EFT MBA program, the idea of like networking out in the community. And so events, like networking events, like many people just like you couldn't find a more scary situation than a networking event for an EFT coach. Many people are terrified of that sort of thing, and then there are all those networking sorts of events that have or organizations that have you pay for referrals. We say, number one, the networking events that are free or have a minimum, a small, nominal fee or whatever, I think those are okay to go to if you know what you're doing and what you're saying. And then with the other scenario, paying for referrals, don't do it. Don't waste your money. There are much more valuable ways, and you get a much better return on investment with other things. Yes, Craig?
Yes, I will say.
I mean,
yes.
Are you agreeing?
Yeah. In other words, everybody has their, there's the networking referral meetings, the BNIs, and the morning breakfast meetings, and all those things. And when you get to a community to help to establish yourself and get to know other people, you also do get to know other people that you consider excellent. It does create a little bit of discomfort in some of those situations because there's the expectation that you're going to refer to everybody, and you may not feel comfortable referring your clients to those, and that can be awkward situations. So there's an advantage to them. There are disadvantages. So, that's really a personal choice, never paying for referrals. Though that's a no-no.
No, not paying for referrals, but even being in sort of an organized
sort of a networking referral club
that you pay a significant amount to. I really don't think it's necessary. There are other ways to spend your money that more effectively, even just buying a cup of coffee for some of these people that we're talking about, right?
And
speaking of referrals. At the EFT MBA program, we've have a very strong list of referrals that we have for EFT business building. So people that are fantastic and reliable and are not very expensive in terms of website and virtual assistants and people that can help you with a variety of things. So that's part of what we offer, is that we have done our due diligence to come up with solid referrals with people that can help you with your business. So
time tested and mistake learned from, right? Yeah.
Okay. So
good.
Thank you all very much for joining us. It's been fabulous. If you have some concerns about and hesitation and reservations and resistance about reaching out to people, then certainly that's a tappable issue, and that's something that can be and should be really worked on. So we wish you all the best in the world.
We've got a great program coming up on working with women EFT coaches and issues that they face in our next next show. That's going to be a fun one.
Okay.
And again,
thank you.
Lastly, thank you everybody for joining. We will see you on the next show. Have a great week.
Or check out or send in your application for the EFT MBA program. Like I said, we're starting tonight, and we're going to run for 6 months, and it's going to be fantastic.
You have been listening to EFT MBA with Alina Frank and Dr. Craig Weiner. To get your free report on the 5 secrets to create a rockin' EFT practice and to learn more about the EFT MBA program, visit www.eftmba.com.